yeah, this your boy Dre, creator and co-host.
There you go. My name's David. I'm the D-Rob, Admiral, whatever you want to call me. The host. They call me co-host, but I'm the real host.
Too long. And yeah, this is The Perspective Podcast.
How do you spell the?
T-H-E.
Okay.
Damn. So pretty much, let me give you a quick background of how this whole thing came about. So we were sitting at the bar just talking shit, like we always do. Every time we get together, we sit down, talk, have everyday conversations.
I was having an intellectual conversation.
Yeah, fuck what he talking about. We were sitting down just having conversations, and I was like, shit, why not put this out there? We talk about everyday shit every day. It's a lot of people who think like us, so why not talk about it? Why not get it out there?
Yeah, but I said no.
Yeah, you did.
Like how many times?
A lot.
Exactly.
But
and yet I'm still here.
Yeah, because you wanted to be a part. So he did all of that, and then I actually went out and got other people to be a part of our team. And that's when I got Eli, our director, Shannon, our editor, and Ty, our sound engineer. Great team. Definitely can't wait to definitely get this information out here for y'all. So that's pretty much how we started out. This is our first episode, our pilot episode. So stay tuned. It's a lot to come.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about this part, the perspective. What is it about?
So the perspective is pretty much a tongue-in-cheek, no-holds-barred conversation between everyday people just doing everyday things. We just sit down and want to talk about different shit through different lenses. I come from a younger perspective.
And I come from a little bit older than that younger perspective.
So that's pretty much what it is, man. We just here just talking shit, drinking a little bit, smoking some hookah, having some guests in, as we sit down and just have our conversations.
So the big thing, I can't believe we're here.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about this for months. In our inaugural episode, first episode, we here. Let's do this. You ready?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Let's go.
All right. So before we get into it, and before we get into the main topic and our guest speaker, let's talk about our DM slide.
The DM slide. I'm glad you brought that up. So this is like my favorite part, guys. The DM slide is basically which one of our audience members has slid in the DMs with us this last week, and we're going to talk about whatever you bring up. This person I think is really good. In Instagram, we had @MahoganyGirl, and she said, "Take sex out of the equation, and you will truly see if you're compatible with someone or not." Dre, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts kind of conflict. Honestly.
I believe that, yeah.
It just depends on the level of compatibility we talking about. Are we talking about somebody that I'm just looking to have sex with? If I'm looking for just a quick nut, or if I'm looking for somebody to sit down and like vent to, or I'm looking for somebody to build with, have a whole relationship with, marry one day.
I would almost say, since she said take sex out of the equation, it would be the latter.
Oh, the latter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
You don't remember what you said, do you?
Nah, I really don't.
It's okay. You said basically it's someone you want to sit down and talk with and cuddle with.
Yeah, somebody that I just want to sit down and cuddle with. Yeah, so if you take that out of the equation, I do think you can still find out if you're compatible.
Let's take it to the next level. I think this person is probably talking about a relationship. I want to be in a relationship with someone. I've been having sex and all these other things, but it's not working. So if I get rid of sex and we do everything else, we're talking, we're conversing, will I understand if we're compatible or not?
I think so. I definitely do. And for the simple fact that if we sit down, we're doing all that, we got to be compatible on some type of wavelength. I'm spending my time with you. I'm giving you my time. I could be out here fucking any and everybody else.
I believe that. But I think the biggest thing is you have to look at, we're compatible, but isn't sexual compatibility like a part of the equation? Like, I get it. Let's take it out of the equation. But what if you get together, y'all are like having some of the best conversations about NAFTA and the Third Amendment, and no one really knows what the Third Amendment is, but I'm going to throw it out there. Mm-hmm. And then you finally get together, you go upstairs, and she got on like granny panties. She got them rollers in her head.
Uh-huh.
What you gonna do then?
How much did I have to drink?
Oh, nothing. Because y'all was too busy talking about the new trade agreement with China.
Yeah, but I mean, was that over drinks?
No, it was over water.
All jokes aside, though.
Well, no, this isn't joking.
All jokes aside, I do think I'll still be there, just for the simple fact that if I find you compatible, then I'm definitely going to find you compatible outside of sex. So. And
I think that sex is part of the compatibility. Mm-hmm. Now, I do think if we're going to go that whole Steve Harvey, act like a man, think like a woman. Wait, no, it's think like a man, act like a woman. Oh, or I just said like the same thing, just backwards, right? It's okay. Whatever it is, if you're gonna think like a man, act like a woman. There you go. You can get rid of sex for the first days, however many you want to do, and see your compatibility there, and then determine where you want to go.
Right.
But this isn't no 18, 19, 20-year-old relationship, right? Like, we're grown men and women. Sex is part of it. Doesn't need to be on the first date. I don't know. Notice how I said I don't. Yes or no, I just said I don't know. Y'all heard that part. But I think a lot of times people are trying to get into relationships and they are just having sex, and the next thing you know, the only thing you have in common with each other is the sex. So now y'all are what? Sliding to each other's DMs, hitting each other up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Right, but I also think that comes from not even trying to understand a level of compatibility.
Well,
that's just coming at it straight plus.
What if they married? And that's the only time you can like talk to them.
That shit ain't gonna last.
Or is that a whole nother topic?
that's definitely a whole nother topic. But since there's gonna be a topic for another episode, let's go ahead and bring in our guest speaker. Today we have our politician. We're gonna talk about politics. For the 2020 election, and we have our guest speaker, the recorder of deeds of the city of St. Louis, Mr. Michael Butler.
Whoop, whoop. So let me give his intro the best I can, y'all. I'm reading this, so bear with me, because I know Mike, so it goes like that. So Mike is a Democrat. He's a recorder of deeds for the city of St. Louis. He's from the Loop, so you can't go wrong there. He was first elected to recorder in 2018. Before that, he represented the city of St. Louis in District 79 in the Missouri House of Representatives from 2012 to 2018. Can't beat that. He also serves as the chair of the Democratic Central Committee, which is the Democratic Party of the St. Louis City, and is the city's 6th Ward committee man. Now, some of his prior experience, it includes serving as a legislative aide, a legislative assistant, an educator in the St. Louis public school system, and as a manager at the home office of Walmart stores in Bentonville, Arkansas. He holds a bachelor's degree in business from an A&M that's not Florida. I guess they call it Alabama.
Still an HBCU.
I guess, yeah. Whoop, whoop, we love HBCUs. We do, but it's not FAMU. But there he was. Okay.
The illustrious University
of
Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yeah, find it on the map. He served as the SGA president, board of trustee member. He holds his master's degree in public affairs from the University of Missouri-Columbia in St. Louis, Missouri. We call it Mizzou. Y'all know what that is. Before we start, Mike, I'm going to give you a chance to shout out your family, because he just had some exciting news, so I'll let Mike start.
Hello.
And then we'll go into it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me here. Yo. I'm here.
Here he go with them damn
Just had I didn't do 3, so yo then. Shout out to the Kappas, the family first.
Absolutely.
Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Here we go.
Also to my wife and kids. We just had we have a 4-week-old, 1-month-old at home, man.
Congratulations.
So to be here.
Congratulations.
That's a blessing.
Get me out the house.
It's a blessing.
Hit the hookah real quick. Go ahead.
I'm about to hit it. So while you're doing that,
before we even jump into the main topics, Mike, I know David gave a quick little bio, but let the people know who you are. Give a true, understanding.
Yeah, that bio made me sound real good, man.
Mm-hmm.
But who I really am, I'm just a young kid from the south side of St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up all around St. Louis for real, but my family's mostly from South City. And my parents got divorced when I was 9. That's probably the most important thing that happened to me as a kid, because then that just changed my entire perspective about life. I would love my dad, and when we were not in the same household, that really made me more independent, and ended up just moving around a lot over my young years. And who I am is somebody who's always just morph into what's best for success and what I need to do to be successful. Went off to college, always wanted to go to HBCU. I went to HBCU. You guys saw Drumline back?
Yeah.
Drumline came out when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
So I wanted to go to Florida State, and then Drumline came out, and I thought about Florida A&M, but they weren't coming off that money. So I went to Alabama.
I get it.
I think you made the right choice.
That is.
Don't nobody want to go to FAM.
That's real.
So nope.
That's real.
He literally said he wanted to go there.
No.
They give him the money.
But by the time I ended the senior year, it was like, nah.
Yeah, because they didn't want to come up off the money. Nobody want to walk the hills.
I get at the illustrious Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, you got to hold on to that game. I get it.
I will say this though, being in the South really morphed me, because being from the Midwest, and then going to college in the South, I really feel I got a little Southern charm from there. And then I came back home, worked at Walmart, came back home, ran for office, and it's been a blessing. Now I'm just a family man who wants to do right by the community and build build a nice society that my girls will be able to grow up in.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Mike, he was a little shallow about himself. He forgot to mention that he is
an
owner.
Let's go with shallow.
He is an owner of Open Concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk about that a little bit.
A year ago, I had this idea to open a bar. Came home from Jefferson City, working in Jefferson City as a state legislator, and that's been a hell of a ride. Just it's my one shot at getting rich. If this don't work, I'm just gonna have to work good jobs for the rest of the year, for the rest of my life. But I own a bar, Open Concept. It's the only open bar concept in the entire country where you pay $10 per hour and you drink as much as you want. And it's been going very well. I see some regulars in the building right now.
Yeah, I see them too.
Absolutely. He just had his 1 year anniversary. So definitely shout outs to Mike.
Thank
It's
you.
a great time every time we go down. Always support.
So Mike, we're about to do this. Okay, it's the election season, so that's why you're on here. We're talking about elections. I wanted to start off with what's going on with Trump? Why Trump? What should we know about Trump? But I don't want to insult the audience out there because who cares about Trump? So the real question I think we should start off with is why Biden? Why should we vote for Biden?
That's a very good question.
I know.
Why Biden? I think when I think about that, I think first about black voters in South Carolina. And when Biden was running in the primary, those older black voters in South Carolina, and then I think Nevada, really kind of chose Biden for us,
right?
And really set the stage for black voters for the rest of the country. We technically never got to choose in Missouri because the race was over by the time we got to Missouri. About 4 or 5 weeks later, Elizabeth Warren pulled out 2 days before it got to our state, and then Kamala Harris had pulled out a week before, and two or 3 weeks before that, Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar pulled out. So why Biden was a good supporter of Barack Obama. That'd be the number one reason for that a lot of black voters in South Carolina and Nevada went to.
Baby, he's it, the Barack.
You can hear people say it like, if you're looking at folks who are better for black folks, and you can't, a white guy who'd been in the Senate for 30 years getting behind a young black guy was really in a sense, their parameter around, hey, that's the number one reason. I think that Biden represents right now a lot of what Trump isn't. I think also Biden talks a good game on some futuristic policy initiatives like undoing the Clinton crime bill that he supported in the past, supporting appointing black judges, picking a vice presidential candidate that's an African American female and a member of a sorority.
She went to a HBCU.
I mean, I think that he's showing us that he's got some chops and that he's thinking about us. But when it comes to a policy reason, I'll be the first to say, as a Democrat leader, you can't point to it yet. The verdict is still out. Okay. But there's no doubt that I'm going to vote for Biden. A lot of folks are going to vote for Biden. But this election seems to be more about where you stand on Trump and not necessarily where you stand on the issues. And that worries me. That absolutely worries me. But I think what I'm hearing from voters is folks are saying that that's more important than having some kind of direct policy agenda right now.
But isn't it just as important? I feel like if I at least can get Biden in
more
there,
important. Go ahead.
I know that he's going to put someone who graduated above the 7th grade level as Secretary of State.
Yeah, that's important, but I hate to elect anyone. And I'm talking about the head of my party right now, the guy who's going to lead. I had to elect anyone with a blank slate without not knowing what their policy desires are. We know where Biden could stand on the issues, but he has not really articulated a policy agenda, especially a policy agenda for Black America. Right. So I mean, I've been very vocal lately on I don't like the Democrat strategy of I'm not Trump. I'm different from Trump. Right. I'm better than Trump, because that's kind of a lazy policy agenda to say, well, when I get in, as long as I don't do what he did, I'm gonna be better. And I don't think black folks really have a lot to benefit from just 4 years of better than Trump, because Trump was set the bar too low. So if we just get a little bit better, that's not gonna. We're gonna have new conversations. Now, what I hear a lot of my activist friends say, a lot of people that's in D.C., that they're gonna hold him accountable, that they're gonna make him go further than what he has, and I know they are, and I know they're gonna work hard. But I know that they would even admit that they don't know exactly what's gonna happen. So
okay, so them holding them accountable, right? And you said that you do believe that that's going to happen. Like, you 100% believe that they are going to hold them accountable?
Oh yeah, I would say the beauty about now in a Biden presidency rather than a Clinton presidency, who was only the last white male Democrat president we have, would be that the infrastructure for black political power in D.C. and in certain cities across the country, including St. Louis, much different, much better. Our infrastructure is not centered around Congress people and black elected officials. That's part of it, but a major part are the operative organizations and PACs that are in DC and across the country, a few cities across the country, maybe about 10 or so cities across the country. The Black Lives Matter movement for Black Lives, that is much more powerful than it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So yes, they're gonna work their butt off, and these are very smart people who are smarter than a lot of black elected officials, people who actually should be elected, who have a direct focus on one or two issues that I think they're gonna be successful. How successful, we don't know. I'll say this: at the beginning of the primary, I really want to meet this person. I don't know who it was. I hadn't had time to research it because my wife's been pregnant. Remember we were talking about reparations? Yeah. Like the first 2 months of the Democratic primary. Can you freaking imagine that? I was like, I don't know who started that conversation, who had that all over CNN, but because whoever did it made themselves anonymous because nobody still knows. But there was a reparations movement for literally 6 months,
and then it stopped.
Yes,
and then it stopped.
It stopped when Biden became the nominee. Now let me not go too far. But real talk. If that was how far we were getting, that lets me believe in a movement for Black Lives and a lot of different organizations that are push that. Like I said, that I know they're gonna speak the movement. They're gonna be there for it. They're gonna speak the issues. They're gonna be strong for us and not gonna compromise on a lot of things. I just don't know exactly what they're gonna get out of Joe Biden.
Well, I was gonna say, so instead of us not voting for Trump or voting for Biden, is another way to look at this election as. Look, both these men in their late 70s. So most likely, based off of Americans' average age, and I'm sure they're going to check back and tell me what that age is, they're not going to make it. So now let's look at the vice presidents. So now we have Kamala Harris, the senator from California, and you have Mike Pence. So are we really deciding between those two?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but before we even get into that, let's talk about the fly that was on his head.
Ooh, that's awkward because that fly did not know it was attracted to so much shit. It was there. It was like, I don't know why I'm here, but it's cute and I love this. So let's go.
Yeah.
I think God is sending us so many messages.
That was symbolism,
in this campaign,
right? It was symbolism.
Like all the Republicans who believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in these, the president getting COVID a month before the election day, and in a fly. If you don't believe in these messages, the universe, or God is sending us,
don't
man,
do it.
come on. Come on.
Don't do it.
I say no. I don't think that. I think that we should, and we are looking at what's coming in 2024.
Right.
Okay. I don't imagine Joe Biden or Donald Trump are going to croak over in 4 years. Okay. Presidents get the best doctors in the world. They get the best vacations in the world too. Let's be real. They work hard. But Donald Trump has had the best 4-year vacation anyone has ever seen.
He's being president.
Dude is really not working like Barack Obama. He's and part of it maybe is health. They say, hey, you take 1 day on, 6 days off. That's right. So no, I don't imagine they're gonna. But I do imagine. I am pretty sure this will be the last president we'll have from that generation.
Yes.
Okay. And like a lot of things in this country, if you look at corporate America, I look at or unions or the nonprofit sector. Unfortunately for our parents' generation, they're really getting skipped over.
Yep.
And our grandparents are kind of handing the world over to us.
Right.
While our parents have waited 10, 20, 30 years in director and VP positions to become a CEO, I've been seeing, at least, especially like in politics, where that, what's the generation, baby boomers and the millennials, I guess is a
Yeah, like David generation, but generation. Is what you saying? That's pretty much where you go.
So we're gonna
they get passed over. So the thing is the next president, is it gonna be from our parents' generation or is it gonna be from our generation?
Right.
And I don't know. I like AOC. I think if AOC run for president, I think she gonna set this thing on fire. I think that lady is super talented. I like. I think Elizabeth Warren is dope, but she's a little in that 70 range now. So, but I don't agree with everything AOC does. I haven't always agreed with her. I like her tactics, but I haven't always agreed with exactly what she says. But I think the lady is super. I don't say lady. The Congresswoman is super talented. She represents like our generation extremely
real
well.
Fiery, and she was ready. Like, let's do this.
And I think the populace, other than those 70-year-olds who came through the civil rights movement and feel like everything's better, feels that way, man. They really feel like, hey, we need some change. Like, people are angry.
So I wanna throw this out there because we could be talking about national politics all day, but we are in the city of St. Louis.
We are.
What do we need to be focusing on in the city of St. Louis? Because this year, I don't think there's no mayoral race. I think you have Kim Gardner, who she's coming up for re-election, but let's be real, she's gonna win.
Yeah.
And then you have Cori Bush,
just one,
who's a state rep. Again, she's going to be elected in November, but let's be real, she didn't win. So, like, what should we be focusing on from a local standpoint?
A local standpoint, we do have the mayor's race coming up after this November election.
Okay.
Yes, and we should be focusing. So the local politics is really based upon August. Yeah, that's right. Pass it this way.
Pass me the. If y'all didn't know, we are smoking food.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's healthy for you.
It is.
Until they prove otherwise.
So August elections and the primaries just passed, and those are really the important primaries before the March election. And yeah, we should be focused. So we have 7 out of the 9 citywides in the city of St. Louis are African Americans.
Okay.
We should definitely be focused on getting the most important one, which is the mayor's office. I can't tell you how much a black mayor across the country has helped with black business, with black employment in Atlanta, in DC, in Dallas, and plenty of other municipalities. When we had a black mayor here in St. Louis that was from the community, I mean, things were different. My daddy was a black business owner, he still is.
Okay.
And the difference with how much money he made when it was a black mayor compared to not is drastic.
I was about to say, I think I was a kid. I remember Mayor Freeman Bosley Jr.
Yes.
And then what was the next mayor?
Steve Harmon.
Steve Harmon, I'm about to say, I don't think I was living in St. Louis when he became mayor. He was the police chief, though.
That was correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And then he did his thing.
We've been pretty much a black city since Mayor Freeman Bosley was mayor, and we haven't had a black mayor in 20 years now. So it's time, and a lot of issues I say that surround our city are black issues in the black community. We need a black mayor. So the mayor's office is very important. I think it's also important to look at the census. Right now, between now and November, and seeing if we can get some Democratic statewide to peek through, especially like a governor. The census is very important because.
Is it too late to fill out the census?
It's not too late. This guy sent it to the end of the month, to October. So if you haven't filled out your census yet, if you listen, go online and go ahead and fill it out. It only takes you 3 minutes. I've done it in 3 minutes.
That's all it took me.
Census.org, I guess, census.gov. Please fill out your census because in the city of St. Louis, it's pretty much predicted that African Americans will no longer be the most populated race in the city of St. Louis. It will no longer be a black city possibly in 2021 if enough people don't fill out their census, but it's possible that enough black folks have moved from St. Louis City to the county and to St. Charles where we're no longer a majority black city or a major black city. So that's going to really play in the mayor's race and a lot of races moving forward, especially with redistricting coming up right after the mayor's race. if we don't have as many African Americans in the city, we don't have to draw as many African American districts.
Okay, so my question to you is, for somebody who didn't grow up here, who really don't know too much about the politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
What advice can you give somebody to, who just moved here, is considered a transplant?
I hate that word, but go ahead.
He don't look like a transplant?
I'm
not for real.
I would say, I'm definitely not from here. I'm from
Which is dope.
I'm from the Chocolate City, the Chocolate City, Washington D.C. Grew up in the Southeast. Just to let you know for all the viewers. But what type of advice or what type of
DMV?
No, DC.
DMV.
Let me know what type of information, or where can I go to find some type of information about the local races and the local government. Seeing as though that I came here, I moved here. Now I have a permanent address here. What information can you tell me about the local government?
Are you registered to vote here?
Absolutely. Okay. I'm definitely registered. Everywhere I go out, that's one of the first things I do before I even change my address. I always register to vote.
That's illegal.
So I think if you're just trying to find information, I think you can definitely go to stlelections.com. That's the Board of Elections website. That'll give you a lot of the the textbook information you need to know about how the government is structured and when elections come up. But if you're trying to learn politics here in St. Louis, we're very much a Chicago style, New York style politics.
Vote early and vote often.
That's what they say in Chicago. I'm not gonna say that I do that.
No, we don't.
Right.
We don't condone that.
I think that you can't be what we have here. It can't be taught in a textbook, and there's a lot of stuff that goes in between, and that's everywhere. But a lot here in St. Louis, it goes in between those words you see on the stlelections.com. But if you want to get information past what you can find online, you absolutely have to get involved in volunteering in an organization. But that's anywhere. That's in Kansas City. That's in Boston. That's in DC. Right. You gotta get important, and it doesn't have to be an elected official like my campaign.
Right.
It could be just a nonprofit organization like Action St. Louis, or just get involved with somebody's campaign or somebody's nonprofit. But if you want to just go online and look at stlelections.com.
That's your goal, bro. Give it the mic. Stop cheating.
I'm the hookah hog, and I'm about to ask my question. Thank you very much. So I can tell you what I love about this time right now. Y'all gotta love it. These are some of the best commercials on TV right now. I'm like locking my doors at night and wishing that I could turn on my ADT system, because I'm like, I don't know, Jill Shute might come get me, or Ann Wagner, she lurking outside with the new bill on something. I'm scared. I don't know. And I like Nicole Galloway.
Yeah,
but she might be outside after me, according to these
scared
commercials.
white women, huh?
Yeah, that's what it turns out to be. That's a message in there, folks.
Oh, wow.
But I love white women, but still, I love black women too. Oh Lord, I done made this. You did.
You just dug yourself a hole, bro.
I'm gonna smoke my hookah and let them talk about scary white women. No, this is for Mike, not you.
Okay.
What's up? So the commercials,
like,
I think.
Yeah, these commercials, y'all like go for the jugular, like the closer we get to the election day.
There's an old saying that all politics is local. I think that's changed since 2016. Like all politics is national.
They're funded by the
a lot of those
parties.
commercials are national PACs and organizations funding these TV commercials, and they're coming at you with. The campaigns really don't go negative anymore. Like if me and you ran a campaign, we'll just talk about what we believe in. But the PAC groups are the ones that end up going, they end up being negative. So
thanks,
that's what you really seeing.
Taking out our light.
We definitely appreciate.
That was the move. There was a move right there.
It's like
we're talking about dark money, right?
We're talking about dark money. They got real dark.
Exactly, and that's what it is. The dark money that because nobody can track it. So. I don't really see. You see some. I saw Ann Wagner had like a direct negative ad against Jill Shute this time around, but they only do one at a time. And I will say this too. The other thing is inside baseball thing with politics is a lot of consultants make money off that. Like they'll get a kickback on TV buys and stuff like this. So you're gonna see a whole bunch of radio buys, TV buys from now to November 3rd, because that's big money. That's big money right now.
That's where it's at. So. We've talked about the politicians. You know, I'm trying to be nice.
He is a hog. When he get the rub on his head and get distracted.
Let's talk about voting, because
Let me say this first.
Yeah.
Voting's not going to save us.
Oh, shit.
As a politician, I make this clear when I talk, because people don't usually have politicians say this, especially a month before the election. But let's be clear, voting is not going to save us.
Okay.
Voting will help us.
Okay.
Voting absolutely helps us, but voting ain't going to save us. There's a lot of things that go on in our community that are oppression. There's other things that's just us.
So you're saying
starting businesses and getting your stuff right, getting your credit good. Voting ain't gonna never change that. Helping your kids with their homework. Getting your kid a little summer job, cleaning up. Giving your cousin start a business, making sure one of your cousins is an attorney, the other one is a police officer, and the other one works in corporate America. That's stuff that all other minority groups do that we don't. Okay. And voting ain't gonna change that.
So we have to be an active participant in our democracy. And what I'm hearing is, yeah, you need to get out to vote, but like, what else do you do? Do you visit the actual businesses that you live around? Are you creating those businesses that you live around? What else, Dre?
Just getting like you said, supporting them. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that we need to do. We have to continue to support the black businesses and start our own black businesses.
Yes.
That's why we started the podcast. We definitely wanted to get the perspective out there.
Shoot. So do we qualify for one of those black-owned business loans?
Yeah, I probably do.
But we need to. Okay, let's send that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Director, editor.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Right. So we need that. We need some money. But definitely, I definitely do believe.
But I want to go back to, man, why am I going to vote? Voting don't do nothing.
So, I let it go back to, I think, like when I hear my cousins and I hear a lot of cousins say right now, they're getting out to vote because they can't stand Trump.
I mean, we got the same cousins.
For real. So, but at the same time, the ones that say it don't really matter, I don't totally disagree with them, man. There are two reasons why they say it. One, they'll say is that I don't really have a candidate that I can believe in. I don't really see somebody that I can believe in, and I'm including that too. Like there are a lot of my cousins that I ain't exactly like. I came up in the hood, but I didn't come up in the streets. I went in the streets with them, and I never morphed to it. I was talking to a friend of mine before that. I always was kind of the cousin that was like, oh no, you don't need to go here. You stay right there. So I think when we have candidates that either speak to or represent that more, I think you're gonna see folks say, "Oh yeah, I can see myself voting now. I can see myself in it." The other half is that the folks that don't think it matters, that they've been voting, they've taken a chance before, they've seen their parents take a chance, and they vote for black faces or people that talk good, and it just doesn't seem like things have changed in the past 40 years. But a lot of it is half and half. It's voting in a good elected official and a good group of elected officials creates the laws that don't hinder the community work that needs to happen. Okay. But if there's no community work, it don't matter where you vote. It don't matter if you have if you have a black mayor, if you have all this, that helps out. Sure. But if we don't have the community work on the other side, where people starting business, people taking care of their kids, people taking care of the school system, people mentoring other young men and women, then we're gonna still have a lot of problems. So it's important. You say we have to be involved in vote with voting. I think it's important to vote, but it's also important to do those other things in the community. Because we're at a negative. We're way behind other minorities. We have to pick up. And the truth is, you look at other minority groups: Jews, Latinos, Asians, those from the Middle East. They don't put as much stock because they don't have as many numbers as us into voting or the government. They put a lot of stock into their own community.
So government dependency. So devil's advocate, but not really. I don't like the devil like that, why can Republicans fall in line, but Democrats need to fall in love with their candidate?
That's a great question, bro. I love the inside baseball.
That's how I do.
Inside baseball.
Oh, that's that liquor, huh?
Because
it's brought to you by Four Roses.
That's a good sponsor, probably.
Hopefully they call me up.
Republicans are usually one-issue voters.
Okay.
And abortion has been the issue of the last 30 years for Republicans. And they've done a very good job of out-messaging Democrats on abortion. But Democrats are usually wider thinkers. And Democrats want to really change society. And so Democrats are going to hold you to a different standard. Because that too, I also tell people that the problem with Democrats is when we lose to a Republican, we try to, a lot of that, I would say 80% of Democratic consultants and 80% of Democrats say, oh, well, that's the way to win. We got to do what the Republicans did. But I think our voters react differently, and we have a different set of eyes on us, where we have to use our strategy. And you're right. So at the end of the day, you Democrats have to fall in love with people, because we're a little more serious about what the role of government is than Republicans. Republicans feel like they really win based on less government, and the government's the enemy. And we have to win, and we have to win based on like how government can help you, and we have to prove to people how government helps you. So we're kind of at a negative most times because of that.
Okay.
But I'll add to this, man. Just having a conversation. I've been thinking a lot lately about how do we change the conversation around that. For me, abortion, guns, gay marriage, and there's probably one other issue there. But really, those three have really ruled our politics for the past 30 or so years.
Yep, right.
Every election is really decided on those issues, from a state legislative race all the way to the presidency. All the money in politics nationally is really centered around abortion, guns, gay marriage. And I feel like there are at least 20 other issues that really connect to people. That, and for me as a millennial, those issues really were decided before I was born, and when I was a kid.
Could care less now.
Yes, and while they're still important now, I shouldn't be talking about the same things Freeman Bosley was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Crime is becoming bigger now, but we're still talking about some of the same solutions to crime that Freeman Bosley talked about 30 years ago. It's like, so when are we as a generation gonna move that forward? And that circles back to what you're talking about, how the reason why we're still talking about these things, because look who's still in office. 70-year-olds who originally got elected in the state legislators or as an alderman or something
30 years ago
talking about these same issues. So so full circle. I think that when us younger folks we shouldn't wait till we get in office. We should start to push the narrative of new solutions, new ideas, a different narrative. Like, hey, this is what people actually care about. And I've been kind of researching what those issues are.
Then a question I would go towards, because you hear this, I feel love. Y'all, I'm knocking on 40. Like, next week's my birthday.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, you're not a millennial. Oh,
definitely old.
No, I'm sorry.
Hella gray hair in the beard.
But I was just going to say.
With the first shade.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to more so say.
Oh, my bad.
Is this the most important election of our lifetime? I feel like every 4 years, it's always the most important election. So, like, tell me, is this one, like, I don't have to worry about in 2024? Because this one was the one.
That's a great question. They always are, but this one kind of is. It really is. Let me stop. This one is for now. I think 2024 is going to be more important too. Here's why. For now, this one is more important than everything before, because the industry. Some people say the game of politics has changed so drastically that this election will determine what the following election will be, and then kind of determine. There's a generational shift going on in politics. I talked about generation before, but it changed. Barack Obama changed politics altogether. Barack Obama changed politics in 2008 when a black man won the presidency based on his
our president is black.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So the culturistic element from, but also his knowledge, his background, his charisma. And, I didn't really believe Barack Obama was for real gonna win when he first announced. When he won Iowa, I was stumping for him when he won Iowa. Then I was like, hey, this guy's the real deal. Okay. And I started stumping for him at Alabama A&M, and I was like, some of my friends, black people at HBC was like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. And I remember laughing at them like, look, it's about to, and then everybody got on board like by the time he was like it's Super Tuesday. But I'll say this. Donald Trump changed politics altogether in 2016.
Yes, he did.
And not good for us. Now, Republicans, if you had a Republican here, they'd say, hey, for them, Donald Trump's election meant more to change in politics for them, the same that Barack Obama meant more to change in politics for us. But now we're in the Trump era of politics. Right. Whether we want to say it or not, Donald Trump I think it's the first president, really one of the founders that was president and hadn't held an elected office before. Like, this guy was president of the United States in 2020, and he had never held elected office before. Never was a congressman. There was nothing. no matter how you spin it, that's very impressive. And his path to victory is, and the other thing, his path to victory went a lot through almost ignoring minority voters, Black, Latinos, and everybody. And less than ignoring, no, with Latinos, he didn't ignore them. He straight down them and won a national race. You know what I'm saying?
Won the kingdom out and everything.
So this election is going to determine whether we are going to remain in that era. Like if Donald Trump is a one-term president and that and his policies and all the races and white supremacy he had in the White House are thrown out after 4 years, then yes, this is the most important election because it showed, hey, you can win like that, but you can't run a country like that. If Donald Trump wins in 2020, then you can win and run a country with white supremacy. That is extremely important. That's what I said. I think a lot of people are trying to get past the policy. That's what they see too. So for me, this is the most important election to determine for us in lifetime to determine if we're back to the 1980s or we back to the 1960s.
Right.
But if I think in 2024 when a figure like Donald Trump is forced to leave office, Mike Pence is not really Donald Trump. He is in a sense Donald Trump. I think there are plenty of other. You're going to see a lot of Republicans trying to repeat Donald Trump.
I've always said Mike Pence is worse than Donald Trump because he's a politician who knows how to run the game.
I agree.
Trump's biggest issue has been, hey, I'm going to do this, and maybe I'll agree or not. And the Republican Party look at him like, yeah, but no. Mike Pence knows how to go back. Hey, Mitch, let's do it like this. No, you can't have a hoop. He don't need it.
You got it.
You don't need that. High on life, everyone, because he loves it.
Definitely don't smoke.
So I think wrapping it up, Mike. Really, what do you want us to take from this election? What do you want us to look forward to going into 2021, all the way to 2024?
What do I want? I really don't have none. I mean, honestly, I really don't. To take from the election, it's one I think we got to win. It matters if we win or not. I think I'm more of a person.
Give us both perspectives real quick.
Yeah, I think what I would like folks to take from this election is even if we win and we know we're not going to get everything we want from Joe Biden, is that we've got to take care of our community first. And I said, as a politician, it's someone who strives very hard to pass laws and have been very successful in blocking bad laws. At the end of the day, what we do in our normal life is more important than what laws someone like me can pass. The other thing is that I think that we definitely can be more engaged, but we've got to be engaged on a level that pushes the envelope and that supports the infrastructure that's already there. I mean, other than that, I just don't see where this country is going to be much different. And as far as for Black people on the ground, 3 years from now, let's be real. Let's say what we all say in open concept is that we had a Black president for 8 years and we didn't see much of a difference of Black people. We were proud. We were extremely proud. It was a good time. We saw our people in the White House doing swag surfing and stuff. We could see ourselves represented. But I mean, how many of us got huge raises and got huge loans and our student loans got repaid and I mean, it was just life as normal really for most of us. I mean, the path to victory for us as far as success was not any different under Barack Obama presidency as it was under the Donald Trump presidency. So, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, what we should take to an election is that I think we should be smarter as a community now, as just as Blacks, as Democrats or Republicans, is that the government does not fully determine our future, and we really got to take some self-resiliency and really work on our community first. But I would say, save for Latinos. I think a lot of Latinos who are immigrants, who are and Muslims who come from Muslim countries, there's a difference. There's a clear difference on how their connection to other countries, how things are different for them. But as an African American, grew up on the south side of the city of St. Louis, I think that David Robinson is more important than Joe Biden.
Finally, someone said it.
I'm clear. I'm serious, Dre. Like us working together is more important to me than the presidency, because I think that's going to have more of an effect on our future. Let me add this too. Inside baseball is that presidential elections and national elections are mostly based on swing states.
Okay.
And what I learned in my master's degree program is that what you see if you look at the federal budget or just how federal elected officials act, that especially folks that are powerful when they're for president, they give more favors and put more interest in those swing states. Iowa, because they're first in a Democratic primary. Ohio, Florida, these states, when they ask for something, they usually get it.
Right.
A state like Missouri,
Arizona.
we on our own, man. We on our own for this governor election.
Good luck.
We on our own for our mayor's election. We on our own for our circuit attorney's election. We on our own. So we really, when it comes to, Joe Biden ain't even putting yard signs in Missouri right now. What makes you think he's gonna put, large buildings or something? What makes you think he's gonna invest millions of dollars into the hood and he can't even put a yard sign? We didn't even get a free yard sign. He's gonna give us a free housing authority project? Nah. So I think at the end of the day, we should say, hey, we need to vote. We need to make sure we don't have somebody working against us, but we need to be working for us.
Mike, I couldn't have said it better myself. Hence why my name's not Mike Butler. But I really do want to thank you so much for coming on our inaugural episode. I think it's been insightful, funny, but it really makes us think, especially like, what should I be focusing on? Is it that national election? Is it a local election? Or what am I doing in my neighborhood every single day? So thank you for coming out, blessing us. Right here, they're going to insert a bottle of Moet that we're handing you.
Hey!
And just take that bottle. There you
Yes.
go, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations to us on this episode.
Yeah. And our first episode, definitely thank you again for coming out, blessing us with the knowledge and everything else. And for all those who are listening and those who are viewing, make sure when you in St. Louis, you come to Open Concept.
Yo.
Only place in the nation where you can just pay for your drinks by the hour.
Yeah.
The only place, and when I say it's a good time, it's definitely a good time. Good
Google
music, it's always something to do, and we definitely want y'all to come out. But we definitely need all those and everybody to sit down and follow us on the Perspective Podcast, and also subscribe to our channels, the Perspective Podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And again, Mike, thank you for coming out.
Love.
Can't wait to have you back, because we know we're definitely going to have you back. We got a lot more things to talk about other than politics.
A lot more cursing in next time, too.
Oh,
I know we didn't curse
Yeah,
enough, but I mean, everybody mad at Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
And
But,
then we got this bald ass head.
that's true, because the next episode is actually going to be a good one. We're talking about Greek life.
Yes.
And we're not talking about the ancient Roman, Greco. We talking about black Greeks. Really the only Greeks that matter, which is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Absolutely.
But
Me first.
there are some other ones out here.
Yeah.
And there are sororities out there as well. So we got our fraternities, our sororities. But we really want to talk to you guys about Black Greek life in an older level. We're not talking about college. Look, y'all can step stroll and stomp the yard all day, but what do you do after you graduate?
Absolutely.
And
Even
that's
though
what
the
we're gonna
stepping and the strolling is still involved.
It
'cause a
is.
lot of people think it's not, but it's definitely
It
still
definitely
involved.
is. You just
and we
need
still
to
kick it.
have Epsom salt on stand when you do that.
And ice.
There you go. Again, thank you guys for coming out. This has been the Perspective Podcast.
And again, my name is Dre, the creator and co-host.
I'm just D-Rob, the co-host. I ain't created y'all.
And can't wait for y'all to listen next week.